Hello, wonderful. It is Sarah K Ramsey here to talk about finding love and success after a toxic relationship so you can bounce back better. And I am enjoying the sunshine. Don't worry, I'm not around anyone right now. But I am enjoying the sunshine. I actually have my sunshine shirt on, so my hair is a hot mess. But I had a question from one of you guys that I wanted to address, which is how not to let toxic people bother you. Now, this person is part of my group coaching program, so I talked to her about collecting data. So when we're trying to decide if someone's toxic or if they're just kind of a jerk or what decisions we need to make in our future, I talk about collecting data and, kind of investigating, not investigating like going through their stuff necessarily, that's not what I'm talking about, but just, investigating how you feel around them. Do they make you feel small? Do they always make you feel anxious? Is your gift of fear kicking in? That sort of thing. And so her question was, how do you not let toxic people bother you? And I was like, well, okay, let's pack that down a little bit, because toxic people like bothering you, right? Chaos makes you easier to control. They like for it to be about them. They like to get their way. They like for you not to get They like for you not to get your way. They like for you to do the work of the relationship. They like for you to not notice their bad behavior, not call out their bad behavior. They like to push your buttons to set you off to see if they can control you. Okay, so if that is someone you are around and you are asking how to not let them bother you, you're asking an impossible question. It's like, well, how do I live without water? Or how do I, give up food forever? Or, it's not possible, because if they weren't toxic, then they wouldn't be trying to bother you. But if they are toxic, then they are trying to bother you on purpose, because it's about control. It's about them knowing they can manipulate you. It's about them knowing their power over you or their power over circumstances. Okay, so to think toxic people are not going to bother you is probably impossible. They wouldn't be toxic, but some tips and strategies. Of course, it's about boundaries, but there can be some other boundaries other than just saying no. There can be boundaries of keeping your space, especially if there's a toxic person at work. Don't sit beside them, right? Try to avoid meetings they're in. Try to sit at the other side of the table of them. If it's a toxic family member, if your, grandmother is going to ask you inappropriate questions at Christmas dinner, make sure you don't sit beside grandma, right? Like, try to find ways to put boundaries, like actual physical boundaries between the two of you. Or not being alone with toxic people can be very helpful, like if there's someone else, because toxic people tend to act worse in private than they do public most of the time, unless they're trying to use that person as a flying monkey, which is from the Wizard of Oz, the reference of the Wicked Witch having flying monkeys to do her work for her. So sometimes if you have someone there, toxic people will use a flying monkey to suck you in. You can also imagine like a light around you, okay? Like there's almost like a physical light barrier around you, like a light bubble around you, which we can get back to go to the Wizard of Oz again and think about when Glinda, the Good Witch, came down to Munchkin Land. She had this like globe around her, right? And so it can be really helpful to kind of visualize a globe around you, so that the toxic person can't get in your emotional bubble. But probably the most important thing about not letting toxic people bother you is know that this is just who they are. It's not about who you are. Because so many women come to me and they think, oh, if I had, done something differently, or loved a little bit harder, or hadn't gained weight, or hadn't taken that job, or, been a better daughter, or whatever it is, you think that there was something you could have done to make the toxic person treat you differently. But toxic people treat you that way because that is their love language. Control is their love language. Getting you to do the work of the relationship is how they connect to others. Sucking off your energy supply so that they can feel better. Even sucking your humanity to some extent. If they don't have empathy or kindness or feel good about themselves or confidence, sucking it out of you if you are good, kind, loving, giving, forgiving, and confident. Okay? it has nothing to do with you. That's why you see the toxic person do the same thing in the next relationship and the same thing in the next relationship. With toxic parents, there tends to be one child who takes it worse than the other. But it's not because you're less lovable. It's because your parent's not a good parent. Because healthy parents, if you are parents, you don't think, gosh, I'm going to be really good to one child and then really ugly to another child, right? You can't even imagine doing that, because healthy people don't do that. Healthy bosses don't do that to employees. Healthy partners don't do that to the person they say they love. So, create boundaries around your toxic person whenever. Actual physical boundaries. You don't have to be around them. You can imagine a visual light or an emotional globe or bubble around you. But most importantly, when they say things, know that it says something about who they are, not who you are. And as you move forward in your life, you're probably thinking, gosh, I need to become more lovable. I need to become more lovable. I need to become more lovable. And the reality is, you need to surround yourself with people who are good at loving, not people who choose chaos over connection, and not people who want to make you feel small so they can either so they can be the hero, or who play the victim so you'll do all the work of the relationship and save them. Hope that helps. Hope you have a great day.